Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Lamonts G CKs Show, Sunday, December 21st, on this rainy, beautiful day. I'm not going to be with you long today. I got some things I got to take care of. I realized that today will be my only off day for the next 7 days other than Christmas. I'm not getting out doing anything on Christmas, so I've got to get out and do some running around, last minute food shopping for Christmas and all that good stuff. And but some interesting things happened this week that I had to I had to address. And as you know that we celebrated my mother-in-law's 70th birthday last weekend. I came home and got a little rest, and the next day I got a call from a buddy. He just wanted to meet up. I said, "Well, hell, I got to work, man." He said, "Hell, well, we can meet up later, but let's talk, catch up a little bit." I said, "Okay, it's cool." On Mondays, I don't normally have a lot to do at work, so I, you know, set a little time, away, listening to him. So before he called, I had watched a couple of podcasts, and ironically, our conversation that we had related to the conversations I heard on the podcast, and simply, I said, you know what, I got to address this. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to address that. Plus, I'm going to dab into sports just a little bit. Over the weekend, you had the playoff games, college playoff games. Division One AA. I said Montana State played as well, and some interesting things I heard from Tyler Watts, the former quarterback for the University of Alabama. And I think he played in the late '90s or early 2000s, somewhere around in there. But he said some interesting things that I want to address as well. And you know me, I got my notes. I'm an old man. I gotta keep up with it. And I'm going to tap into one of the conversations I had with my buddy. He was having issues. He lives in another state, and he had an issue with the trans agenda thing. He told me about it. We talked about it, and he told me how he's handling things on that front. And lastly, on that podcast I was telling you about when they was talking about black culture, they also talked about they played an excerpt of T.I., I want to say, and how he stated that I don't think he said he didn't believe in the church or didn't trust in the church, but he said the church is a business. I got some fascinating things to say about that as well. So give me about 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes, and I'm going to run through all this. And if I had some show music, it'll be playing now. Then I set up. But yeah, so I listened to the podcast, and I'm not going to call out any names. They're a very popular podcast, but they were talking about black culture and how a black man or a black woman can't criticize black culture. And they went on and on, and one guy was like, back when I was growing up, it took a village to raise a child, which is absolute fact. And ironically, at my mother-in-law's birthday party, you had many of the family members and friends standing up, and that's basically what they said. The whole acknowledgement part of the party was that my mother-in-law was a part of their upbringing, and she helped raise all of them. Just like my mother helped raise the whole community. That was a part of something back then. That was a part of our culture. That was a part of who we were. I go down the road and I mess up, I'm gonna get 2 or 3 whoopings before I get the big whooping at home. And that's just how it was. And I pray, I wish it was like that in today's world. But you touch somebody's child, they're gonna want to shoot you, kill you, cut you. and all that mess. And they went on to say that one guy said that he thinks the culprit of it is hip hop. Now, in my day, it was called rap music. In today's world, it's called hip hop culture or hip hop music. And I don't disagree with it. Because what I remember about rap growing up in the 80s and 90s, man, you had your southern rap, your ghetto boys, your outcasts. You had your New York rap, um, uh, I can't think of a lot of them guys' name now, but guys who came out of the New York, Philadelphia, New Jersey area, and then you had your West Coast rap, and which consisted of Washington State, Oregon, California, mainly California, with Snoop Dogg and Dre and all those characters. And to me, I enjoyed it all. I wasn't the biggest fan of New York rap, or East Coast rap, but Southern rap and West Coast rap, yeah. But to me, it was mainly good music. I know it was a lot of cussing and degrading women, but for me, it was all about the boom boom. You get two 12-inch kickers and a 250 watt amp, put them in your trunk or in your hatchback, man, you got your system. I love that. I wasn't a lyricist. Now, as I got older, and I hear these guys saying stuff and rhyming, I was like, man, what are you singing? Oh, that's Ghetto Boys. I took a left at the Popeyes, and for 30, 40 years, I never knew that's what they said on that song. My mind is playing tricks on me. I think it was Willie D that said it. Yeah, I took a left at the Popeyes. So I wasn't really into the lyrics. I was just all about the sound. Now, the culture was toxic. I didn't see it as a young man, but the culture was toxic. You had NWA out there, fuck the police. You had oh my god, I can't think of these guys' name now. The little black bastard with the gold teeth and he got the big old watch as a necklace or whatever. Flavor Flav, I want to say. I could be wrong, but these guys were damn culture. I'm sorry, they were race baiting or race hating type group. They hated white folks and then in the '90s you got into that pro African um, movement. Africa Bambaataa and all the no, Africa Bambaataa was Planet Rock. I'm sorry, I'm getting these mixed up. I should have done a better job getting these names, but because I can't remember off the top of my head. But there was a set that they the red, the green, the yellow. They went back to Africa type thing. You had your Malcolm X a period right in there. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't dislike any of that. I really didn't. I was young, dumb, and stupid. So at the time, it was all about the illusion. When the culture was trash, cause you walk around, fuck the police, yo, police gonna fuck you. You know, I never thought that. I never believed in that. Never ever in my lifetime ever believed in fuck the police. Hell, I was a cop. I was in law enforcement, 16 years, law enforcement and corrections. You know, so I never had that mindset. But I never came from Compton, California either. I never came from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania either. Maybe these guys had different experiences. I can't say I ever had that experience. I love my life. I love my upbringing. I love where I came from. Um, so I never had these problems. But getting back to the subject, the culture itself, rap culture, was trash. Now you had individuals trying to rectify that on the East Coast. Self destruction. One of the greatest, hip hop songs or rap songs of all time was saying, "Listen, we got to quit killing each other. We're self destructing. We're self destructing. We're killing ourselves." That should tell you how trash the culture was. Now, fast forward, 20 some odd years, And to some, it's gotten worse. I haven't been in that life since the 90s, since the mid-90s. So I wouldn't know. But to some who are still in that life, that culture has gotten worse. And to these guys, and to the buddy that I talked to that particular day, the conversations were, we can't criticize our own black culture without getting demonized, without getting canceled. Well, I'm here to tell you, and I'm going to wrap up on this particular subject. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a damn. And excuse me for using foul language, but I don't care. I'm going to criticize. I'm going to talk about. I'm going to let you know what's trash and what's not, because I ain't scared. Who going to cancel me? If I had $1 billion, you think I would give a damn about being canceled? I do got to give a little bit of grace to these individuals who are in certain businesses, or whether you're an entertainer or you got a department store or something like that. You don't want to put yourself on blast, because people ain't gonna shop there. People ain't gonna watch your movies or listen to your music. So I understand that you kind of want to keep your, some of your opinions to yourself. But I don't have to, because ain't nobody gonna do a damn thing to me. I'm not afraid of being right. I'm not afraid of expressing how I feel. Which takes me, I was going to do the sports after this, but since I'm on a roll right now, I'm going directly into another subject my buddy and I was talking about. He's dealing with some trans issues. I don't know if he's dealing with his kids, his neighbor's kids, some kids in his children's school. I have no idea. He didn't get that far deep. But he was just saying, man, I want to get your opinion on something. He's like, what's pushing this trans shit, man? They're less than a percentage of the population. But he said you got politicians trying to push it in other countries. You got school boards, and you got individuals in this country pushing it so bad. Don't no child come out of the womb want to be something else? That's a learned behavior, and it is. It's a learned behavior. So who's pushing it? Well, you can look at the individuals who support it, and they are part of the problem. But the people who are pushing it, in my opinion, are two entities: the medical profession, the ones who do the therapies, the surgeries, etc., etc. They make a lot of money off that. A lot of money. Whether it's brain fucking these kids or literally mutilating these kids, they make a lot of money. And the pharmaceuticals. Because if you ever watch that show, I Am Jazz, the little boy who mama, I think at 3, she decided, he should be a little girl. So they had the little boy tallywhacker cut off. Had to go through all this hormone therapy and this and that. And I think when the little boy it got in his 20s or late teens or 20s, he was mentally fucked up, because he said, this ain't me, this ain't who I am. He's got to keep a glob of grease in between his legs 24/7 to keep that wound from closing up. God didn't intend for this little boy to have his damn junk cut off and to open up a artificial portal so he could pretend to be a girl. God didn't intend for that. So you got to keep a glob of grease or Vaseline or something down there to keep the wound from closing up. That woman, because you can't blame this kid. He was a child when he was mutilated. You got to blame the mama. She should be put in prison or put to death. And each and every individual out there who thinks this way, especially about their own kids, and normally it's gay folks that adopt kids that put them in this position. Sometimes it's just wacko parents themselves that put their babies in these predicaments. But they should all be put to death. And this video may get canceled for that. I don't care. That they should be. So we're going to continue to talk about this situation because he was under a little bit of pressure at the time, and he said we will talk later on, probably after Christmas. So I will bring this subject back, and finish up on it. Before I get into sports, let me quickly put on this because this was a part of the conversation with another gentleman, but more from a podcast perspective. They had Ti doing an interview with somebody, and it was about church. And he stated, and don't quote this because I only heard a little bit of it, but church was a business. I don't know if he believed in church or thought the church was still a good thing, but he, in his mind, church was a business, and I can't disagree with him on that. I go back to the late '80s, early '90s when Damon Wayans did a stand-up show, and he stated that church is like going to Vegas, man. It's all about the money. And he was right, absolutely right. Now, I asked my wife this, especially when it comes to church and, different beliefs and this and that, or when it comes to religious and spiritual stuff. Collectively, as human beings, I think we're fundamentally stupid. I said, do you think that we're fundamentally stupid? And I'm not just talking about a group of folks. I'm talking about all human beings on planet Earth. Are we fundamentally stupid? Because you can go back to biblical times where individuals were following false gods, and God plain and simply told them, if you want to worship that stone or that statue over there, I'm gonna come get you. You need to repent and believe in me. That's 200. That's 2,500 years ago. In my lifetime, you got people like Jim Jones and others like him. I mean, how can people follow these individuals, follow these damn devils? So my point is, as a human race, I think we're fundamentally stupid because you can't tell me that you got thousands and thousands of people that believed in this piece of shit and drank the Kool-Aid. You got them today. You go to any damn mega church, and I'm not saying all mega churches are bad, but you're paying a lot of money and you're drinking a lot of Kool-Aid. And I should have went a little bit deeper with this conversation because I heard a podcast. A panel podcast at Antoine Daniels. He had a panel and they was talking about church and religion, and this one girl's like, I don't blame an individual if every Sunday morning they get the Bible, they sit at the table, go to McDonald's, get them a cup of coffee, some breakfast, read the Bible, maybe with another person by themselves, and just read and come to an understanding. Because you don't want to go to a Jamal Bryant church. You definitely don't want to do that. You don't want to go to a church that fundamentally is not standing on biblical principles. Because I'm telling you, so 85% of these churches ain't preaching out of the Bible. They either preaching prosperity or they preaching on that pocketbook. Plain and simple. But that was a very interesting panel they did, and it was wonderful. And I'm gonna come back on that, but I'm gonna wrap this up real quick and just state the playoff games was this week. Bama beat Oklahoma 34 the 24. Texas A&M lost 10-3 to Miami. Ole Miss beat Tulane, and Oregon beat James Madison. And that pretty much wraps it up. I think it was Montana played Montana State in Division I AA, which was a good game. I don't remember the score. But don't forget about these Division I AA and Division II games, y'all. They are wonderful. So listen, that's gonna be it. God bless you guys as always. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, you stay blessed. And hey, check me out next time. You can go on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And holler at your boy, because I love you. Peace out, man.